You think you know about the World Wide Web. You think you've seen what's out there. You spend hours a day on it, navigating familiar landscapes of social media, news sites, and video platforms. But what if I told you that familiar territory, everything you can find on Google, everything you've ever bookmarked, is just the tip of the iceberg, a fraction? Some estimates say it's as little as 5% of the total web. So what about the other 95%? What's lurking in the cold, dark water below? This is where the myths begin. Headlines and Hollywood thrillers paint a picture of a vast, terrifying digital underworld, a place called the dark web, a digital boogeyman home to hackers, spies, and every illicit trade imaginable. But this narrative, this lumping of the entire 95% into one terrifying category, is the single biggest misunderstanding about the Internet. The truth is, that 95% is mostly boring. Before we can tackle the myths, we have to get our definitions right. The unseen web is divided into two very different and very unequal parts. First, you have the deep web. This is the vast majority of the 95%. Think of it as everything Google can't or won't index. This isn't sinister, it's just private. It's your email inbox, your online bank statement, your company's internal portal. It's the academic database behind a university's paywall. It's the server log for a website. The deep web is private, not evil. You access it every single day. But then there is that other sliver, a tiny fraction of the deep web. This is the dark web. What defines the dark web isn't just that it's unindexed. It's defined by how you access it. It's a collection of hidden networks or dark nets that require specific software and configurations to enter. The most famous of these is Tor, the onion router. This is a place built from its very foundation for one thing: anonymity. And that single pursuit, total, untraceable anonymity, has created a digital space unlike any other. It has attracted the best of humanity and the absolute worst. Today, we are moving past the hype. We are separating fact from fantasy. We are venturing below the surface to debunk the 7 biggest myths about the dark web.
This leads to a major barrier for the curious. There's a palpable fear that the moment you download the Tor browser, you're put on a watch list. That by simply typing in a .onion address, you're breaking the law and SWAT teams are moments away. Let's be unequivocally clear. In the United States and in most Western democracies, it is 100% legal to download, install, and use the Tor browser. It is 100% legal to access the dark web. Think of it as a dual-use technology. A kitchen knife can be used by a chef to prepare a meal, or it can be used as a weapon. We don't outlaw knives, we outlaw murder. The same principle applies to Tor. In fact, the origins of Tor might surprise you. It wasn't built by hackers in a dark basement. It was developed in the mid-1990s by the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory. Why? To protect the communications of American intelligence agents overseas. Today, it's run by a nonprofit, the Tor Project. So who uses this legal tool? Journalists and whistleblowers. Major news organizations like the New York Times and the BBC run their own secure drop services on the dark web. Political activists. In countries with oppressive regimes, Tor is a tool of freedom, allowing access to the real Internet. Government and law enforcement. Yes, even the FBI uses the dark web to conduct anonymous surveillance and communicate with informants. Accessing the tool is legal. Using that tool to commit a crime, that is illegal.
This brings us to the bad math myth. If the deep web is 95% of the Internet, the dark web must be huge, right? Wrong. It's microscopic. While the surface web has over 1.7 billion websites, studies consistently place the number of active Tor sites only in the tens of thousands. It is a tiny hidden village, not a massive parallel continent. And what about the danger? The digital boogeyman myth suggests that opening Tor instantly compromises your computer. Malware floods your system, your webcam turns on. This is, for the most part, false. The Tor browser is actually one of the most secure browsers out of the box. So, how do people actually get hacked? User error. The danger isn't automatic, it's invited in. Downloading files, clicking phishing links, or revealing personal info. Tor protects your connection, but it can't protect you from your own bad decisions.
But we must be honest. One myth is grounded in a horrifying reality: the illicit marketplaces. The Silk Road was the Amazon of drugs, a billion-dollar enterprise run by Ross Ulbricht. When it fell, others like Alphabet rose to take its place. Stolen credit cards, hacked credentials, malware, drugs, and weapons. This is not a myth. It is a dark, documented reality. However, to say this is all the dark web consists of is a profound misrepresentation. It ignores the other side of the anonymity coin. Major organizations like Facebook, Proton Mail, and even libraries host their own onion sites to allow access in countries where they are banned. To define the dark web only by its criminal element is like defining the entire internet by its scam emails.
Now, we address the most sensational myth of all, the Red Room. The story goes that there are hidden sites where you can pay Bitcoin to watch torture and murder live on camera. This is pure, unadulterated fiction, a horror story and nothing more. Why? First, technical implausibility. Tor is slow. It bounces your connection all over the globe. Live streaming high-definition interactive video over Tor would be a blocky, buffering nightmare. Second, total lack of evidence. Despite decades of investigations, not one single verifiable Red Room has ever been found. So why does the myth persist? Scams. Con artists create fake sites with countdown timers to prey on the morbidly curious. You send Bitcoin, the timer hits 0, and nothing happens. They aren't murderers, they are thieves. But here is the tragic twist. While live Red Rooms are a myth, the trade of pre-recorded abuse material is a devastating reality. This is the true horror that law enforcement fights every day. The myth is fiction, the reality is somehow worse. Finally, the most dangerous myth. The belief that Tor gives you a magical cloak of invisibility, that you are 100% anonymous 100% of the time. This is dangerously false. Tor has vulnerabilities. Malicious actors can set up exit nodes to sniff your traffic. State-level actors can mathematically link your activity if they watch enough data. But the biggest vulnerability? It's you. Ross Ulbricht, the founder of Silk Road, wasn't caught because Tor was hacked. He was caught because he used his real name and email address in a forum post years before the FBI was even looking for him. Anonymity is a discipline, not just a download. Total kid. So we return to our iceberg. The 95% below the surface is no longer a single terrifying mass. We see it for what it is, a vast, mundane, deep web of data. And tucked inside it, a tiny, complex, and contradictory dark web. We've demystified it. We know it's tiny, we know it's legal, we know it's a tool for both criminals and freedom fighters. The dark web is not a monster from a movie. It is a mirror. It reflects the extremes of human nature, amplified by the power of anonymity. It shows us how dark our impulses can be, and it shows us how desperately people will fight for freedom. It is not a place to be feared, it is a concept to be understood.
Because in a world of total surveillance, the questions it raises about privacy are more relevant than ever. If you want to learn more about how to protect your own digital privacy on the surface web, click this video right here. Thanks for watching.